We start by saying, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha. Back in the building for another Power Creep podcast after a bit of a hiatus. There was a funky schedule that Adel had for a little bit there during the slime rerun collab and then the update after that with Melee. But now we're back on track, updating from Wednesday to Thursday. Your boy can actually pump out the videos in my usual fashion.
You've been pumping out videos. I've seen you. I see you.
I'm back on the grind. And that grind includes this podcast with my co-hosts. We got Tweaks.
What's up, fellas?
And Demos, the Demented Panda.
Hello, hello.
Both of which got the newest character we have in Cloudia. You can see him on the screen. It is the granddaddy Granadas, the tank.
I've heard, Granadad. I've heard Grampadus. Pretty funny.
Funny nicknames.
Yeah.
I don't think
he's got some sweet art. Honestly, I like his a lot. It's relevantly simple, but it's pretty elegant. Big spear for an arm. Like, that's sick.
It's pretty much what you want out of like an anime style old man grandpa badass.
Hell yeah.
Giant.
I love the big shield behind him.
Represents what he is supposed to be, his main role. The newest tank to last Cloudia, where in this podcast we're going to go over him, get to that age-old question, where does this character fall in the rankings, give our initial judgments. And you guys have him. You tell me. Give me your initial thoughts.
I mean, just before we start, the thing about utility characters, tanks in this game, it's not going to be like the showboaty, like, kind of show, like, flexing units that we can do normally with like high damage DPS units, magic or physical DPS. He is a utility tank, through and through. He's a fantastic damage mitigator. And if you want to build him DPS, you can, but like that's just like not something you have to do. So keep in mind that this may not be like, let's go merc some content with like the newest unit. Like, no, that's just like not. It's not gonna happen. Which is cool. I mean, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, which understandably, there's definitely a decrease in hype between him and Melee, who we just saw.
And that's always gonna happen with like support utility,
which is fine.
Just like, but that's the thing. Like, as endgame players, as you, myself, and Panda are, we understand the places that most units belong in, and can kind of view a unit as to where their highest potential lies. And unfortunately for him and many other utility units, like they're not going to get the main stage like MVP, all damage done, all that kind of crap, and super fast damage. Like, no, it's just their value is still there. It's just it takes a little bit to actually notice it.
And it ages well.
It ages so well. So well. And of course, I know people talking in the chat, like, yeah, we'll go over the other buffs too from the other units. This was a pretty sweet update.
It was.
I know, Panda, you got your best girl, OG best girl. OG best girl, but you're, one of your best girls. Got a nice little buff.
You say that.
Panda has.
She's one of my.
He's not as optimistic.
I know, but she was one of my best girls too, way back in the day. So
it's just like
it's nothing
I
crazy.
was hoping for more. Like I was hoping for semi-viable in today's gameplay, and I don't see that with what we got.
Interesting.
I'm excited to like actually maybe get some radiances ever, so I can actually like and use those units at 5th enhanced, but I just have none.
Well, what is half your roster 5-starred now?
80%.
80%, you wild man.
No, yeah, it's disgusting. But no, but that's the thing. Like, I've been using them on the recent units, and the OG Rimuru, OG Milim. So maybe I do regret using it on everybody, but like. I went ahead and I broke down and I got a Radiance out of the Crimson Shop for Nero today, just to have fun with him, because his caps are just disgusting. And we'll show that off in a little bit, but it's pretty cool. he got a great buff. V needed nothing. I mean, we'll go over all that, but like, it was pretty cool for some good units from the old that got some nice buffs.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk
Or at
about
least, you know, improved on themselves. Even if it wasn't like that relevant, it's still improvement.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just, we've had so many 5-star buffs that I'm very comfortable saying that like the last collab batch and then this collab batch of 5-star buffs exceeds the precedent expectations set by these 5-star buffs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? This was our last batch, right? We have every single unit in the game now is now 5th star enhanced.
Yeah.
So I can see why they went through and just dumped these onto us in the last like 3 weeks. So they can actually like move on to the next chapter of, you know, enhancing units or their improvements for units.
Yeah.
Because now everyone's got it. Doesn't matter what they are.
They're caught up on the new standard.
Yep. Finally happened.
I mean, since we're talking about it, I was gonna save it for maybe after, but do you guys think that this signifies we're not getting these collab reruns anytime soon?
I don't know about that. I think they wanted to catch everything up before this anniversary because I think this anniversary is going to hold something pretty big. And that was their plan most of the time all along. Not all along, but like most of that was to try to get everything caught up.
That's a fair point.
Council of 10 is finished. We finally got the last Council of 10 piece.
Yeah.
All units are 5th enhanced. So what's next? Seriously, like that's what we're waiting on. What's next?
It's either massive gameplay overhaul,
or
we're not getting reruns. I mean, it's literally 50-50 for me.
Or the game shutting down. No.
Oh,
just kidding. That's not happening anytime soon.
Rest in peace to Brave Frontier. I don't know if you two are familiar with that game, but it's basically the OG. It's the godfather of gachas on the mobile platform. So big title that shut down recently, paying homage to it. It was the first gacha. I never played it, but I knew about it because my cousins were playing it. I mean, we're talking, what now, almost 11 years ago? 10 years ago? Yeah. So big title shut down. It happens. One day, all this money we've spent on this gacha, it's just going to disappear into thin air, everyone.
And that's perfectly fine.
It is the way of life. That's how life is.
That is what you should understand when going into it, right? Like this is not stuff or value you're going to get out of your account. Like it's for enjoyment purposes only, entertainment.
Exactly. So, while we focus on the moment, on the here and now, shall we get into and segue?
Yeah. Tank boy.
Granadaddy, grandpops, granadas, granddads, all the nicknames for this dude. I wish I had dog. But I don't.
Let me just take this stuff off first.
We'll talk about those later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this off just so we can see his resistances.
It's so ridiculous.
Pretty good resistances, honestly. Like, I mean, as a knight, as a tank that we're gonna get into and what he is. Of course, we expected him to be a knight based on his kit and everything. Since he's Earth, expect him to be fire weak. Expect him to be resistant to Earth and Thunder. Like, that's pretty standard. And then Curse Nil, Stun Res, Illness Res, all very, very good for physical DPS. I wish he had a little bit in the blind department, but not that we're going to be using him for, the balls to the wall physical DPS most of the time. That's not really that big of a deal breaker. But Curse, for sure. Curse Nil is really nice to have. Imagine if he had, like, Stun Nil and Illness Nil. Like, that would be disgusting. But, just base-wise, having some defense, having some mind. Nothing crazy in his stats. I think I don't have much on him at the moment, but regardless. As to his skills, and we'll showcase them in a little bit, we're seeing this a lot lately for the S1s. Pretty much the same thing as Melee's S1, Ed's S1. It's a non-line of sight ranged attack that like pretty much travels in a wave, in like a single wave, like very similar to Melee and Ed's S1s. That's all I can say really about it. We'll see it in a second. S2 though, dude, this S2, I was hoping. So you guys remember in spot 1 on IGC3, right? If a big enough AoE hits it can attack, it can kill all of the enemies. And being a standalone AoE, if you can force him to do his S2 off the rip, it had a chance of clearing the whole wave. But unfortunately, it just misses the top and bottom units. Just misses. So if he takes like 2 steps forward, it'll hit them all. But he's not going to do that. That was more than S3. S2 was my like, dude, if he can spam his S2 off the rip, like that is big news for IGC3 farmers, because it's instant and it smacks. I mean, he doesn't need that much damage to clear it, but unfortunately, it cannot do that. Okay. But what it does do is it's damage, but it's the same thing as Ruto's S2, which causes a taunt effect based, depending on the enemy's mind stat, whether you're higher or lower, it gives it a higher probability or lower probability. Of course, if your mind is higher, you're going to be more likely to taunt them. But it's the same thing, right? Like the enemy cannot switch targets other than this unit. And that's not that long of a buff. I think it's like 20 seconds. But it's super useful in places like Arena. Is if anyone's gotten cucked by like a Ruto off spawn dumping an S2 into you, and you're like using a skill on a different unit, and you get straight up interrupted, and you have no like standalone AoE skills, so you're just like literally forced to go attack Ruto. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. So it's nice to see that we have another unit that can do that. It's
Real
from
quick,
what? Go ahead.
Have you tested this with Ruto and Granadas? Like, if they both get it, does
I
it
have
take
not, but
first
it's the
one, or
same
does
buff.
it override? But does it keep the first one, or does it override for the second
idea.
one?
No clue.
Okay. That's what
Cannot
I was
confirm.
wondering.
I would assume it probably overrides it, like a
that's what I'm thinking
new
too,
application of the
but-
buff would force the other units like it's to the new buffer, or the newly debuffed taunted unit. So yeah, that would have to be tested. I'd have not touched that at all, so cannot speak on it. We should note that S1 is 5 hits, S2 is 8 hits. So actually 8 hits is not bad for a taunt skill. That's going to be super wide earth attack being pretty wide area. And his skill 3 is actually 16 hits, which is kind of nutty.
His accounts are great for a tank, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
And
really good.
What I was kind of mentioning in my pre-build guide video was our tanks are kind of slow to getting into opponents' faces, but his S3 is actually a non-line of sight warp, pretty much. Very similar to, again, Meilee's S3. Like, jumping in, like targeting anyone from anywhere and immediately getting in their face. That's kind of nice for an Allure tank. And it does have 16 hits, base, single wield. It also gives the entire team a generic mind plus 20% debuff. So this is the same thing as Matisse, Auto Matisse, stuff like that. Same generic icon, 20% mind, which I really like. Imperial Force, though. This is what we're all looking at, I think, as endgame players, the utility of him, right? Unfortunately, he doesn't have the ult charge speed as like Tinkylia or OG Alice or something like that. But you can increase his charge speed via like the Macudine arc if you feel like it, Great War of Ruin if you feel like it. But when you get his ult up, if you ever do, it does have some unique icons and some unique buffs that we have not seen before. The skill and special damage taken debuffs are buffs to your units and your entire party are unique things that we have never seen before. So those are going to stack multiplicatively of any damage reductions that happens on skills and specials. So yeah, very, very useful for just as a utility ult. Notably, those do last 40 seconds. Those two buffs specifically. The won't flinch from physical attacks buff that we have. This is the same thing that Ruto has whenever he gets in his physical flinching, or gives physical flinching to the entire team. Mikasa also has this. This is for 10 seconds, unfortunately. So his ult gives a 40-second buff to the damage taken, or debuff to damage taken from skills and specials, but is only a 10-second buff from the flinching. Someone was asking me in chat earlier about if you can extend that via accessories, arcs, whatever. I have not tested that, so whether you can or not, I mean, 10 seconds buff to, I'm saying you can probably buff it up another like 50% to 15 seconds if you can. Still nothing crazy.
No.
I wish it was 40 seconds because that would be disgusting. But unfortunately, it is not.
That's like worst case scenario.
As utility,
even, like,
though,
would be okay.
As utility, though, like, let's talk about this. As utility, if you pair him with Emtheria, right? That special and skill damage debuff, along with her debuffs to enemies, or not debuffs to enemies, and your defensive mitigation buffs, pretty much. And if you throw a barrier on people, like, that's a ton of mitigation. That's essentially super armor in itself, which we've always known Emtheria has that HP barrier that she gives units, right? Though in my opinion, like those two put together, pretty nasty. And of course, she's one of the most goated units in the game, so yes, she's gonna be good with anyone. But him specifically, just giving that huge debuff and being an allure tank himself, and bringing out a lot of the utility that we're already using for tanks, especially myself. It's kind of nice because as of units that I don't use their alts for at all for tanks, Shift, Gorm, and Ruto, I'd never use their alts ever. So this is just like another additive bonus for his kit that if I had his already, I would actually use it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty cool. Now let's get into his traits, because his traits are kind of interesting. His Imperial Anthem, the first part, regularly give all allies a physical damage taken minus 10% / damage from bosses minus 20% buff. This is cool. This is reapplies every 10 seconds. Okay, so similar to like Emtheria's 6-second reapplication of those, most common enemy type of debuffs. This will reapply every 10 seconds. So in case your units die and get revived, they'll get that buff already back up whenever he comes into the battle, or whenever they get revived. He is going to start this at the beginning of every wave. This will just be constant. So whenever he's alive, he's just going to keep pumping this out every 10 seconds, every 10 seconds, every 10 seconds. Of course, they don't stack. It just gets reapplied in case they get removed. But I love that. Just having him in the party innately. Not only that buff uniquely, it is a unique icon that gives just straight up minus 10% physical damage taken for the entire party, as well as from bosses minus 20% damage. Like, that's super high utility, just because he's in the party. He makes everyone else in the party tankier. Mm-hmm. When only one damage is equipped, physical damage plus 60%, damage cap plus 15,000. I mean, if you're gonna be using it for damage, sure. Yeah, 15. If you're gonna put armor and a spear on him, which he becomes super tanky with armors and spears, I don't mind this at all. I should note that it says when only one weapon is equipped. It doesn't have to be a spear.
Doesn't have to be a spear. And I think with him and the other units that I would classify as their main role being a tank, he's the first one that is really leaning into the bruisery side. Of a build, with with his skills, the way that he moves his hit counts, and then the fact that he does have damage mods and a cap like this.
The only issue with that, I'd say, is that his caps are nowhere near relevant in the single wield department. So if you were to single wield him, this is 15k caps, and I know he's. What else does he have? Does he have Earth Mega Drive or something like that? He has another a small amount of other caps, right? But that's only, let's say, 30,000 total. Our other single wield units are hitting 40, 50, 60,000 innately without boosted. So.
But would you consider them bruisers?
No,
I
but
think
I just wouldn't consider him a bruiser yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Even if he can cap his damage. So here's the thing. If you're building him for what we like to talk about, leaning into the uses of units, right? If he's a tank, I'm building him full tank. If he can cap his damage while being built full tank, that's amazing. But if I have to sacrifice a bunch of SC and sacrifice a bunch of his tankiness and, his full utility to get some good damage, I don't really know if if that's his purpose. Because even if you try to build up him for damage, it's not like he's going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
In the, as opposed to
in the end game state.
just bringing another DPS, right?
Yep. Okay.
So, I mean, people are going to enjoy him, of course. I think a lot of the community loves using tanks, especially. And if he can put out some good damage, too, it's not going to be meta-breaking damage by any means. But if he can at least add to and, easily inflict damage, sure. I don't see... just by having some of these buffs, he's going to have some... He has some great multipliers in his kit, to be honest.
I think more than anything, they gave him the damage that they did so people would feel comfortable bringing him to multiplayer. Because, he's going to be amazing in multiplayer, but if you're bringing a unit that does no damage to multiplayer, most people don't like that. It doesn't feel good to do that. And I think that's, really the only reason they did it, besides Arena.
Yep. Yeah, fair. I don't think he's going to be crazy good at multiplayer, but he's definitely not going to die on you, I don't think.
He'll be usable.
Yeah.
Is the point.
Yeah. He's not going to be a Shiftgorm or Ruto in multiplayer. He'll actually have some damage to him.
Yeah, if you wanted to bring him, you could, and it wouldn't be a terrible thing. No one's
Wouldn't
just
be-
going to
wouldn't be
automatically
total-
leave if
total
you
feels
did.
Well, let's talk about his trait too then. Genbu. If attribute resistance is at least 1, won't flinch from that type of magic attack. Yeah, okay. This means you can build him for pretty much any battle that you want to bring him to, right? So, PvP, sure, you don't always know what magic you're going to be fighting. So if you want to build him for ice magic, maybe lightning magic, maybe fire magic, you could bring some extra buff to his resistances. But for places like PvE, if you're bringing a tank, places that I'm thinking of right now off the top of my head, Pablo being earth magic, not flinchable because he's innately resistant to earth. Reaper for fire magic, you'd have to put some fire resistance into him, but you could make him not flinching to the meteor rain spam. I think Lambda, the final little bit, has thunder magic. I mean, it's not really that relevant. I mean, maybe Mother has a bunch of different magics you could probably use him for and not flinch. And in PvE, having a non-flinching tank isn't really that important. Just being on the field and being a lore tank in general is probably their biggest value. So, kind of just like a PvP trait. Do you guys kind of agree with that? I mean, you can build him specifically for that, but in PvE, we haven't seen that very necessary.
I mean, we hardly see magic in PvE that is disruptive enough.
Right.
Where it would
it's just
matter.
for interrupting. That's the only purpose it ever has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I can recall is what you mentioned, Pablo. Where I ever can recall magic spamming being annoying. Not even that much of a hurdle, just being annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was that little bit in chapter 5 when it first came out, I think. Right? Was it chapter
You
5?
have
I don't
better
remember.
memory than me.
I don't remember, man, honestly.
They were all I think it was magic immune.
Chapter 4, yeah, over in Mordana. Or not
one of those
Mordana,
ones.
almost
I
by
don't
the
remember.
Gorm.
There was some story content when it first came out, it was annoying as hell because they just kept spamming magic. I was like, this is
Stupid. Yeah, fair. But in PvE we haven't seen that much. So for the content that are going to see in the future, maybe this becomes relevant. But again, we're always saying if something is happening in the future in which we haven't seen much content updates recently. So yet to be seen when that is going to become outside of PvP very relevant.
All of us are anticipating the 3-year.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I mean, people have been pumping it up. And I'm not saying people, I mean the Barlene
Adis,
and
yeah.
such. Adis has been pumping it up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to not have high expectations, I don't want to have expectations, but I do. Come on.
Well,
give us something.
They've never hyped something up this much. At least Barlene. I've never seen Barlene hype something up this much. Ever.
I don't disagree, man. I hope it's not all hot air. I really
know,
don't.
I know. I think Panda's a lost cause, but I know.
I know.
I mean, there was a lot of talk about Shift Kyle update being good, and a lot of
For the
There was
story, I
an
remember that
update.
update being pretty good, but that's about it.
Yeah. And there was another QOL update we had one winter, I don't remember which, where it was like, this is a great thing, and it was like, okay, this is nice, but it doesn't solve a lot of the issues that we have. I would love it if we get something that does, but like, I'm not expecting it.
That's
Yeah.
probably the smartest stance.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for subscriptions, right?
I wouldn't wait on that, dude. All right, let's switch on it straight to.
I know.
Chance to nullify long-range physical attacks damage taken or attack damage taken. This is the first time we've seen this, right? And you know what's tough about this is it's hard to recognize what they consider long range, because it's just like a generic.
Oh, that's a good
It's a
point.
generic statement, right? We don't know the ranges at which is considered. It's probably just out of melee range, but how far is that, right?
That's a great question for Lake.
Lake, I'm sure will come through, but as of this moment, this unit being out for today, we haven't found that out yet.
Adis
So
needs
I
to
like
put
that he
him on
has that at
payroll.
least. No, they really do. Did you? All right, we'll
I
talk
did,
about
I
his
did.
sheet later. You'll
Yeah.
see. You saw it. Pretty
I saw
nasty.
it. Yeah.
Nullified defense piercing effects. I like that.
I like it a lot.
This is cool because it's essentially built-in stone world, which I really really like. No piercing, no defense drops whenever they're getting attacked. Like, this doesn't work with like defense debuffs, of course, but anything like piercing, anything like armor piercer is just not going to work on him. So, any of the, I guess more examples. There's certain Purgasphere has this, defense drop. There's the Granadas, I think the machine weapon has like defense drops, but those just won't work, which is sweet. Nullify attribute ignore / cut effects. This is cool because he's basically immune in PvP to terrestrial users. And he has some resistance to earth and thunder, so like basically any earth and thunder units attacking him will have to fight against the resistance that he has. And if you make him positive to the other ones, they're just going to have to fight against them. Of course, if he gets weakened or gets to use weak spell on Gaze at the End, are going to drop his attributes. That's just going to continue working. Enemies just can't ignore any of the defense that he already has. And cut effects is kind of like the same thing we've seen with Emilia, Shivzekis, Shifmerity, where they'll cut a percentage of the resistance off, or cut a base value of the percentage off, and they don't actually change it, but the attack actually goes to a different value. That doesn't work against him at all. So if he was, for Shifmerity, especially in her S1's fire, if he was 0 resistance to fire, she would pretty much automatically get on any other unit at 0 res. She'd get like weak point attacks, right? Against him, if he was 0 fire, she wouldn't be able to do that. So I think that's kind of cool. That's something we haven't seen before, and it's a bit situational, and definitely not really that relevant in PvE at all. But in PvP, sure, something different. It just helps his damage mitigation. Passives. Let's go to. I think I have all the stuff on him, so we'll just go to set. Let's do that. Let's go put this on. Let's put that on and this on. All right. Set only. His charisma. How do you guys feel about his charisma?
Yeah.
Right.
Extremely disappointed.
Honestly, so this charisma's cool in the fact that if you have no other units that have the charisma, it's essentially like a self buff, right? Because it's using the defense of the allies that are going to be raised 30%. So unless they have high defense already, it's not going to make a big difference. But it buffs him quite a bit. That's about it.
Yeah, you made a good point in your pre-build video where, like, stat multipliers become significantly less impactful depending on the actual unit's base stat. Because if you have 30% of 3,000, you're getting to 4,000, right? It's a nice boost.
Not quite, but yes.
Well, 3,900, okay. Come on,
Just
Twix.
messing with you.
But if you have 30% of someone with like
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah,
it's a 300
not that big of a boost.
stat. It's not substantial. That's why modifiers are always the better option.
What I would have liked to have seen, which of course we cannot modify it now, give all allies 30% of his defense.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
That would have been amazing.
Yes.
And
that would have been kind of like Shift Gorm's little boost too. Like that would have been really nice.
And that would have fit him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is essentially a self buff. If you don't have any charismas on the field and you're not planning on using any other ones, bring this for him specifically.
Or go double tank.
Or go double tank and have someone else's, like him and Shift Gorm together. Yeah, okay, ridiculous. Roar. Roar is cool. You can only use this once per wave, sure. But where is this going to be used in PvE? I have no idea. I don't think this is usable in PvE. But what does work on this, if you bring him into Arena, and you have a bunch of Gen debuffs on you, if you have a bunch of Theopolis debuffs on you, you can use this at the beginning of the battle while you have like Pirate Ship and immovable object pretty much, like unflinching. You can just remove all those buffs from your entire team. And meanwhile, it is only stat debuffs. Like it's not going to be your crit debuffs. It's not going to be your, resistance debuffs. It's only these stats. But that's a nice little pump to him. If you force yourself to start out with MP, at least 10 MP, which you can do, useful. Definitely useful. Is it going to break the meta? No, it's not. It's just, does he use this on defense? No, he doesn't. This is like one of those things, like similar to Shift Alice, where she doesn't use her full either restore or stuff like that on AI. Like if you have her on defense, he's never going to use this, which is sad. At least I have not seen him use it at all for enemies. Yeah, it's good in theory, but it's literally its only place is usability is on offense and Arena. That's about it.
I think the only time I'd really consider using it is to make like going into again defense a lot easier.
And if you already have him in as your tank in your party, your lord tank in your party, then yeah. I will say that we've just got that stupid Demon's Lords Awakened or whatever skill that is that jumps, that gives you like a Brave debuff and a Lost Noma debuff off the rip. You can use this to remove that, sure.
Get those 10%.
Yeah, but who knows if it's actually usable. Immovable Stance though. This has some interesting implications. So I'm sure you and I think probably Panda didn't really
love it.
Not confirmed, but that this had to be a castable stance. I didn't know that. I was hoping that it was a passive. It is a straight up castable stance. So unless you have this equipped, he's not going to have it, and he has to take the time to use it. But, when you cast this, it is a 20-second buff. Okay, it is its own unique icon, so it's not generic buffs at all. So it will stack with everything else. 20 seconds, and what we've seen people do in the past is that when units are casting this, you have a little bit of a leeway with applying guard while you're casting something. Unfortunately, this is pretty instant, similar to Balin's castable thing got nerfed. It's pretty instant. So is it, abusable to inflict, abuse guard a bit? Not really. And I don't love that on AI, he does either use it too quick, like he'll use it after 5 seconds of already having used it, or he'll just sit there and never use it. So his AI is a little derpy with this. Not only that, if you have these Imperial's Guard, Charisma, and Immovable Stance on him, he will literally, these are the first two things he'll do in the battle. Bang, Charisma up, bang, Immovable Stance up. Now, I say bang, bang. It's not that fast. He's literally just standing there casting things in the first start of the battle. So, honestly, I'd probably just take that off if I wanted him to do something. Now, Panda, why do you like it?
Well, when I saw the video, or in like the what it was, I assumed it was like a Balin stance, where it's a toggle and like you turn it on or not. But it's not. So I mean,
And the fact that it's only 20 seconds, because I went in and tested, I was like, how long does this last? And I'm sitting there and it's like, I'm in the battle on Fenning Theria and it's like blinking. I'm like, wait, is this already getting removed? What's happening? And it was 20 seconds. Why is it not like 90 seconds for a stance? I don't get it. I don't get that. But yeah, you do have to cast this. And if you have him on defense and you're a arena team, he's going to first cast this, and then he's going to stand there again and cast something else. So, do you want him doing nothing? I mean, maybe. Like, just standing there. But I don't love that it's not just an innate passive for him.
Kind of, yes. For the last part, Allure, like,
yes.
And all his guard stuff,
sure,
I'm not totally against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to like convince the entire team to go to a certain spot on the map, yeah, it's useful for that. I don't know, it's interesting.
It's more
and this
for
is again,
arena,
this is the first day. Like, we don't know everything and how it's going to synergize yet. Because, you know, we haven't fully tested everything out. The community has not fully tested anything out. Like, there's always people that come up with crazy shit that maybe this is usable for. When that happens, sure, we'll be hyped for it. But in PvE, honestly, if he's an alert tank, I don't really care if he's not using this or using this. I just want him to attract the enemies. That's all.
Yeah, I'd probably never use it.
Resolve up 3 in max. It's kind of funny because he doesn't have any defense ups or HP ups. Any, besides these. I don't really know why they didn't just... Maybe they just didn't want to inflate his SE saves too much, but why not?
They could have gave him one of those 3-way ups that they gave... Who was that they gave it to?
Sarah.
Sarah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Let's just throw everything on there, why not?
They could have. They absolutely could have. But yeah, no, not really any stat ups. Guard Vitals is something we haven't had before. I don't know if this is only during Guard, or if it's just like all the time critical damage taken minus. I would assume it's during Guard since it's initial Guard.
It doesn't say.
I don't think
it doesn't say.
Is. No.
I think that's just like in general.
Guard again. It's pretty much like a guard against Vitals. It's just so I don't have actually. You know what? Let's see this real quick. Set only. Let's see where this sits on the. So it's right next to the aim vital stuff. It's probably I don't have Proud Force. It probably is in between there, like right in between there. So if it's part of the aim vitals and guard vitals thing, it's probably just all the time.
Well, it doesn't say when guard is equipped.
Yeah.
Like all the other
No,
ones do.
I totally agree. But you know, ADIS, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they've been getting better.
They have been getting much better. So gotta give them the benefit of the doubt.
The fact that it comes before the guard skill too,
yes,
indicates a lot. Yeah.
All right, guard though. Wait, do I have this set on?
Yeah, it's quite the guard package.
Guard, steel guard, heal guard charge, grand guard, X guard, guard bash, like a lot. What he's missing in here though, are things like vigilance for sure, another plus 10% guard rate. He's gonna want magic guard for that MP regen, in case he uses roar or you know. MP reduction from enemies, and he wants to have dusk on shit like that. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty full package, which I like. X guard's pretty dope. We've seen that on Naruto only so far, I believe. Another 10% guard rate at 50% lower HP, and then more damage taken. Guard bash is kind of like guard impact. Imagine if he had both. When guard activates, chance to deal damage to nearby enemies and make most enemies flinch. Yeah, I don't know if this is like through. What I'm interested to see is like what's through a shield. What can flinch through a shield, right? Here was my original hope, right? Looking at Roar, I was hoping Roar could flinch through pirate ship. Can you imagine if this was like a secret little, like if he roars at the beginning of battle, with like kind of like Amelia's death animation thing? Of where it was like an unavoidable flinch. How good that would have been.
Roar?
Yeah. I'm just saying like
cleanse.
I know it's a cleanse, but if it had like a roar effect of where it like
flinched,
like if it actually like affected the entire map and it just flinched everything on the map for like that split second, that would have been sick.
That would have been cool.
As like a yell, right? Because I'm totally in the Elden Ring mindset and using friggin' roars and shit. So you know what I mean? Like that would have been really cool. But alas, it's not that. But Guard Bash
like,
can flinch enemies, kind of like Guard Impact. That's all.
What's it? Intimidation. Something like that. Like on-demand intimidation.
Intimidation.
I don't know.
Sukasa? That's the wave start, 3% chance to either faint or flinch, one of the two.
Kind of like that, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, when it's usable, like, let's say, you're sitting in a, I could get into hypotheticals all day. It's just not that. Sorry for going off on a tangent. Night Zone sick, more likely to be attacked. This is a +2 lower stack. And then he takes frontal physical damage taken -10%. Sick. Night Mastery is Soldier, Slayer, Soldier, Shield, and +10% defense, pretty much for him. Pretty nice. Human Shield is going to be all damage from humans -20%. Auto Fort, continuous +20% defense. Sick. Stone Armor is going to be -20% thunder damage.
Yes.
Continuously. What I would have loved to have seen on him was Automatisse as well. Giving him that mind boost just to like increase his viability of his trait 2.
Yep.
Or not his trait 2, but his
Skill
S2.
2.
Yeah, yep. Of course, if you want to, I would strongly suggest putting Fast Matisse on him if you want that proccing more often. Earth Mega Drive, Earth Attack Raise 2, Stone Enhance. These all do improve his viability as an offensive power, which we've talked about before is not going to be that crazy. But Stone Enhance specifically does give another 15% multiplicative physical damage taken debuff, or damage reduction. I like that a lot. I think we've seen Holy Enhance before, which is like light attack damage and then healing improvement, right?
We have.
This is
we have it's on
Holy
Sarah.
Enhance was the one we've had.
We also have Thunder Enhance
Yeah,
on
we got another.
what's her face? Mikasa?
Mikasa has that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
So we're starting to see those, and those are kind of like tailored to.
I've never seen Holy Enhance.
Yeah, it's on Amaterasu.
Yeah, it's on the arc. Arc.
The one I don't have.
It's like damage for light attacks and then
Healing power.
Plus for healing magic.
Really now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Piercing is cool to have on him. Chivalrous Mindset Spear this is what we've talked about before, or the people have seen in the maintenance notice, where they're adding more Chivalrous Mindsets to be specific to certain types of weapons. So we have Chivalrous Mindset Sword already, and now we have Chivalrous Mindset Spear, which is innate to him, and we do not have it yet on an arc. So, kind of cool. I like it a lot. As we get more tanks of varying equips, this will probably be more common. More Chivalrous Mindsets will be coming out. Two-handed Spear, again, just improving the viability of his offensive power when he's built full tank. I don't mind that at all. And of course, I do have dual wield on him, because I am a savage, and I was testing his break earlier, so I do have dual wield axe boost and all the goodies. So we don't have to showcase that yet. But as a dual wielder with full boost capabilities, he can hit 30k plus, but that's pretty much everyone at this point. Spear high boost innately. Again, this is where I wish he would have had Spear Mega Boost.
Yes.
For another stackable 15% damage mitigation for physicals. I also, notably, he does not have any armor or armor high boost or armor mega boost at all. You'll have to add that to him, which I found very surprising. But there was nothing on him. From what I understand, there was supposed to be armor high boost, but that got removed for after testing, I believe, with the test server. So, from what I understand, that got scuffed. I wish it had it.
I would take either Spear Mega or I would even take the Armor Megas over
Armor Mega would be great.
Over what we're gonna see.
Yeah,
later.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Of course, yeah, they could have added some disgusting stuff on him, but they chose not to, and that's their design choice. That's fine.
It's their game, guys.
Phalanx, Killer Slayer damage -20%, which is always nice to see because he has no Slayer nullification at all. And take critical damage -20%. Off track. Notably, I think I mentioned that in my build guide as well. I wish if he had Slayer nullification, he would have been probably the top tank in the game.
He would have tiered up easily.
Yeah, he would have been undoubtedly. But he doesn't. So anyone that has Night Slayer is going to... yes, he's very physically resistant. Notably, he is very not magically resistant. we're getting some more geysers nowadays. We have people with human geyser, and he can't defend against that. So he needs this for sure. Purple orb, of course. Jeez, you see my build.
Pull out all the meta,
just messing around with him.
You meta scrub.
Skill charge 2, of course. This is nice, just nice to have. His skill charge 2 is his skill 2 is his taunt. So having some free SE on that for 3 SE, yeah, I like it. Indomitable Spirit. This is what we've been seeing on a lot of tanks, and I'm very glad that they're using this. Every time that you take lethal damage, you automatically recover at least 50% HP. I'm a big fan of that.
On it.
Not that he needs the skill damage buff. It's more for the surviving based on lethal damage. I'm a big fan of that.
Do you think they'll ever put it on an arc?
It's a really strong skill, dude.
That would be a very, very high demand arc, in my opinion, if they did.
I don't disagree. This is an extremely strong skill. And we're starting to see this more on honestly, a lot of units are getting this.
Too many.
Too many? I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had. Does Mikasa have it? I'm not sure. Yeah, she has it. Chief Gorm has it.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. No, she does not.
Shift Merity, Ardeen, the new, I don't remember his name. Poofy orange hair guy, Shift Gorm.
Poofy orange hair guy.
Yeah, from Trials of Mana.
Freaking
Duran. Oh, jeez. No, stop that. Don't mention his name around here. I'm like, who? Listen, I already forgot about him. Ooh, rip.
A2, Leona, Ed.
Ardeen, did you already say him? Smadine.
Yeah.
Millum, Davin, Luger, Randy, Dura.
Well, I wasn't going to count those guys.
Oh, you looked it up, you snake.
Snake.
Thank you for being responsible.
You're the one who has purple orb on Granadas.
Yeah, because I'm using it as an attacker.
Purple orb goes on
savage.
Everybody.
I know.
All right, focus will. Duration of strength, defense, and mind debuffs taking minus 50%. I think that's cool. This is the first time we've seen. That's a huge reduction in time frame for debuffs. While I don't think this is anything reasonable except for like the defense and mind debuffs specifically, it's just useful on him, I guess. The thing about this is that it does say excluding some debuffs, which we will not always know what those are, right? Because we've had varying generic icon debuffs not react this way, and so this is just, you just have to assume that most are going to be affected by this. I don't know what these instances of that it will be uniquely not affected, but just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
It just tells us nothing. So, and Lake does his best to figure this stuff out, but who knows what the hell that means.
It creates more questions.
A lot of questions.
Than answers.
A lot of questions. Fierce Instructor. EXP received after battle plus 100% not stackable. So, this is an improved EXP up for the party as long as he is there. Now. This sounds amazing on paper, but when you realize it's locked to him being there, it's not as good, unfortunately. So, let's say you run a solo unit. Okay, they get 100% of the battle. If you add him, the XP gets split in half, but then he times it by 2, so it's like he's not even there. So yes, the unit gets 100% of the XP anyways. If you add him into like your 2-man party you're leveling, it's essentially like he's not even there. So unless you're using him as your leveling unit for other units or using him as a support unit, for general auto run clears, this really isn't that effective. Where this is effective is going to be tower. If you run him in your first party, pretty much your entire tower crew, all 12 units in that crew, are going to get doubled experience. So tower does give quite a bit of experience nowadays, especially since we can go to floor 90. Especially those last like 10 or 20 levels gives a ton of experience. I don't know how much. I do not know how the value, but it is quite a bit. And doubling that is just going to be quality of life usable. But that's like the only place that I would see this very like super good value. Because I'm not going to be running him as my leveler. You could, absolutely you could, if you're relatively new and you want to build him as your IGC3 farmer, if you want to put a magic spell on him, even if you want him to just clear it manually with skills and try to put some skill charges on him, sure. Is he going to be that effective at it? No, but it will net you double experience. So I don't see it as the original hype that when we saw this kind of died down quite a bit as soon as we realized it's locked to him. Now this gets put on an arc. Yeah, okay, game changer, but it's not. So EXP up 2 is still goated for most farming, and this is just a bonus for him. I mean, just for the specific spot of leveling him up today, it only took me it took me 6 quests of those soul levels, the soul quests we have in the event, to get him from level 100 to 110, because it was 1.35 million times 6. That's 8.1 million.
That's
It was amazing.
It was great. Literally from before reset, before like 11 a.m. EST, bang, up to 106. At 11:01 EST, bang, to 110. I was like, oh, sick. He's finished.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool. But as a tank, as stuff that I put on him, we've mentioned stuff before that, things you could put on him. I think of note, things like Dusk are worth mentioning for tanks especially. And I know I went over in my build guide, and this is pretty much a copy pasta if you wanted to build him with your Shift Gorm guide. Very, very similar stuff to put on them, because they have a lot of the same skills, same defensive capabilities really. Dusk, Celestial Mass, if you really, really felt like it. Those are some extremely strong skills. We've gotten a lot of defensive mechanism skills from arcs and collabs lately. If anyone's gotten a bunch of those arcs, we've gotten especially from, I'm thinking of like Steely Intent, Uncanny Smile from like the Nero event. We've gotten like anti-chain damage. We've gotten automail equipped, stuff like that. Just decreasing physical damage. Like, we've gotten a lot of stuff.
Gotten a lot of physical damage mitigation.
Mm-hmm,
a lot of physical.
Yeah, but of course, do not follow this build if you have any. I was testing him earlier, and we're gonna have some fun with him, because it's tough to showcase tank units for the main reason of being like we don't. I'm gonna just put spears first.
Anything that's not DPS in this game is secondary, so you can't there's never just a prime clear example to be like, here's what they do solo. It's like
the main beauty of tanks in this game, especially for PvP, is being an allure tank. Setting them to one side of the enemy, forcing them to not move, and then having the enemy flip around so you can do backstabs. That's like the best possible scenario, is to have them completely infatuated with your tank and to just wail on their backside. That's like, in my opinion, that's the best effort that a tank can do. And he does do that. He can absolutely do that. He can sit behind Lambda, flip him around, and never move.
Yep. You can also,
whether you need that or not. Yeah, I don't know.
You can also make the argument of like before and afters. Taking him into the Vaz nuke in stage 1. Stuff like that.
I mean, just giving that straight up minus 20% boss damage for the whole entire party, as well as you have the alt up, it's minus 50% specials. Like, as a utility tank, he's going to be very, very good for survivability.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we have the content or not to use him in, that's going to be necessary. Depending on what stage you are in the game, he may not have a use for you at all. Because
I think he has a lot of things that, like you said, we can theory craft and he's hypothetically good at, but hopefully that means that those types of scenarios will come in the future.
And I hope so too. We have,
like, what if we get a boss that lowers everyone's stats by freaking 90%?
There you go.
Then all of a sudden Roar is godly in that stage. And so stuff like that, hopefully we'll see, just to give him that much more use and those types of abilities.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%. I can't wait to see if that content will ever come out.
I know,
because we also have units with like erase, and
right.
mind you, it's like I never even equipped that on her because it's never necessary in PvE content, like at all, even MP. Like, why would I ever want to care about erasing stats? But you're right. If we have like a 90% stat debuff, it could work some pretty good magic.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a place yet outside of PvP generally. Now, what I do like about his kit specifically, before we get into like the actual equips, is that he does have some damage. If you want to bring him into story, if you want to wave clear with him, he has sufficient damage to clear waves. So like you're not stuck like a Shiftgorm or a Ruto doing little to no damage as a beginning unit or as a newish player. He has some strong multipliers in his kit that can help him out.
That's what I was gonna say. If this is your first unit and your only unit,
Yeah,
it's not gonna suck to play the game.
no, it won't.
If Ruto or Gorm are your first unit and your own unit, you're probably gonna want to reroll.
and you have to build another unit to do damage, right? He actually can do it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all. That's a good point. Would you guys like to get into the equips that we think about? Because
Yeah. I mean, do you want to let's just talk about his paids first.
sure,
Yeah.
I'll put them on. Ooh, they're kind of strong. So, lance wise, yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's crazy, right? I mean, I know again, continuous haste. Yes, that's 14 SC. I like that.
Yeah.
Boss wave
I'm
start. Special
only
gauge
looking at the auto haste and the special gauge. I'm
Yeah,
not
fair.
even considering the attack damage as like a thing. It might as well not even be there.
Yeah, fair. I wish it had higher defense, to be honest. As like a lance, like 150 defense, that'd be sick.
It's
Honestly,
a weapon, bro.
why not, dude? Look at the. It's basically a shield. Look at how big that thing is. That would have been hilarious, though. No,
Let's
but
see.
yeah, the physical damage part is, again, if you got his paid and you're using him as a newish player, that's just going to help you out a little bit. Continuous haste going to help out, especially since all of his skills do damage. And possibly start special BH plus 15%. I mean, that's not crazy, but if you're almost to the special by the time you get there, yeah, it's a nice little boost. What I think the better of the two is the armor.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so friggin' ridiculous. Praetor Plate, Sagrum, 280 defense, nothing crazy. We do have a lot of armors with better than that. 134 mine. Again, we have armors that are better than that. But what the passives are stupid. Yeah. Autocast, high protection, and high magic barrier. This is, for the first 40 seconds of battle, you have minus 35% high protection, or protection from physical damage, and 35% mitigated magic damage. Both on an accessory, or an armor.
Which is cool.
Those are essentially 7 SC each, I would assume. You also have an allure stack. Okay, cool, more allure stacks. Then you're also unable to feint from enemy attacks. Completely giving you inability to feint. That is extremely strong for a tank who's going to be hit a lot. Previously, one of our main ways of becoming faintless, or unable to be fainted, are 1, Emtheria, 2, the little Stonebird arc, or Stonebird AER from Dr. Stone Collab, or 3, the
Bell Tower SSR arc. So just getting that on an equipment is kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
The thing about that is we do have other units that are just in their kit, they're unable to feint, which, cool. But the fact that he doesn't have that and then just gets given high protection, high barrier, and a lore stack, and unable to feint on his armor, which you're probably going to be using as a tank anyways, using his armor, kind of wild. He also gets 5 fire res, 5 ice res, and a stun resistance.
Yeah.
If I had to pick both or either,
Armor all day.
better play
All day.
Mhm. all day.
No question.
Just checking something real quick. Yeah, resist feint. Interesting. Other options for him, though. I actually really do like Divine Beast Percasphere. Yes, if you're going to be using him as anything offensive, not only does it give 404 strength, 80 defense, it also makes him stronger by allowing him to pierce, which he already is piercing in innate, and it gives him another 15% strength. So this, if you're going to be using him at all for offensive power, this is probably one of the better ones, because you can ignore resistance and defense. That's kind of strong. Hallowed Spirit Refaria, if you're going for offense, is one of the better ones as well. and Godforge, 202 strength. Of course, the intelligence doesn't matter. 54 defense, and earth attack damage plus 25%. I think the other notable ones are probably Dragoon Spike and Silvertip Spear. Dragoon Spike for the extra SCT speed. Some defense, and then spears generally have some defense on them, so that's why I'm kind of pulling it out. Silvertip Spear, though, gives 185 strength, 67 defense, 43 mind, and 3 resistances. Since he's already +1 to each of illness and stun, this will put him at nil, as well as giving him poison resistance. So I really like the Silvertip Spear, and again, that's only from the Sulphur Arena arc from the Dr. Stone collab, so most people will not have this. But if you do have it, that's a pretty strong one for him, especially for places like Arena with ailment resistance nowadays.
And it gives him a little bit of M&D.
Yeah, a little bit of M&D.
Bitty bitty.
But I mean, because he has such, I mean, you want to be using one weapon and usually use a spear on him. You could pretty much use almost any spear at this point. Just getting a spear onto him to get that physical damage reduction is, I think, the most important part. Accessories, he's a tank, man. Like, if you want to use him as a tank, if you want to use him as a physical DPS, you put on the appropriate things. So if you want to use him as a tank, we use defensive stuff like Adventurer's Dog Tag, getting some HP back. You're going to use things like, where is it?
You pass the Sphere of the 4 Jewels.
Alt Defensor. Alt Defensor's fantastic for PvE bosses. You did the Sphere of the 4 Jewels, I believe you said. Yep, very good too. Nice little resistances to help them mitigate the magic. All damage taken. I think there's the Crown of the 8 Fairies or something like that. That gives 20%. I mean, again, you're looking at, you want HP regen, you want defenses, resistance to feint, stuff like that. Any allure stacks, especially with like the Paladin Shield and this is the Imperial. I keep wanting to call it the Holy Shield or whatever.
It's the Paladin.
Imperial Shield. It's this armored Holy Shield we have from the White Knight Melza event. Yeah, that's from like very beginning. And then the Paladin Shield is from the Geolukial event.
Koala.
Oh.
You didn't have to do that.
And you mentioned before, there's a bunch of different. I'll just give an example. This Imperial Army Shield. A bunch of the different items in this game have a chance to auto guard, right? This does not affect, and this does not improve anyone's chances to guard. Okay, if they already have guard innate, it's like a binary thing. It says if guard is on, it can be used. You only need one instance of it. So since he has guard innately, none of these things that say chance to auto guard are going to do anything for him. I wish it worked differently, and I wish it was like another independent chance, but it's not, unfortunately. Because I would stack the shit out of those. Like, seriously. But yeah. If you're going to be using it as a tank, sure. If you're wanting to use him as a DPS, you can absolutely do that as well. Which I think is probably going to be the more memey and the more fun way to showcase him. So we're going to do that.
Real quick, shout out to the Tsar ring, which is amazing for his trait 2. Yeah, the green one.
Oh, yes.
The multiplayer. If you're trying to stop him from being destroyed by magic, that's a great thing to use.
Which one?
That one right there with all the resistances, +1 to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I like it a lot. Big fan. I mean, this is one of the best PvE items in the game anyways. Like, for real. What was I doing? That's the question. Caps.
Offense accessories.
Caps. I should do favorite only since I literally don't use anything else other than favorites. Which is one of the best quality life things that has ever happened in this game, in all seriousness, was favoriting things. Because it lets me find everything that I want very quickly. Okay, I think that's fine. So here's what I was testing for. So I think people were asking about his break value. I kind of mentioned it. His break value isn't that bad. If you build him dual wield, which is, what you should do for breakers, he hits like 40% of the bar. We were talking about like other break units before. The same stage, unexpected foe. He can hit for like 40%. Which I'm not going to test, or not show, I guess. But
in 1S3?
1S3? like with the same setup I've been using other units, that's the same as like DeGrogue's S3. Or DeGrogue's does about 45-50%, so a little bit less than that. But as a unit that's single wield innately, kind of, and you shouldn't really mess around with. Just throwing a dual wield and breaker arc and all the breaker stuff on him with an axe and all the goodies, and he wants a spear innate anyways for the iron pipe. It's not that bad. He's not that bad. What do I want to do? I want to do this.
That's how I'd run him in multiplayer, honestly.
As a breaker?
Get that boss break bar down. You're the one throwing out these crazy ideas, bro.
I mean, it is kind of fun, but like it's not necessary. Should we make him cap? I think we should.
Do the cap.
Why not?
I don't think I have sword equip on him, so I can't exactly like. Let me
You
just check.
lose a crap
I
ton
don't
of
have it
damage
on
if you don't use a spear.
Huh?
Don't you lose a crap ton of damage if you don't use a spear?
You lose it.
Yeah, but I was gonna switch out the axe for a spear. Or for a
Oh,
sword.
okay.
To get more cap, but it really doesn't matter. I have literally everything on him anyways.
Do the thing.
Hipsy Buddha should be the only podcast Buddha.
Yo, they're trying to get me lit.
Good.
That's good.
Good.
Let's just boost his caps up. So I mean, of course, this is a fully enabled like. I think this is gonna end up being like 28 something cap. Like you should not use him this way, but it's just funny.
I wish I had Gwar.
Oh, I wish he did too. But could you build Granadas as a counterattack? No, counter sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Let's whip them all in here. Okay, time to go spiral charge.
Do it.
The wield.
Let's go, baby. 30K. Wow. This guy.
Yeah, nothing. It's with fully enabled, like.
The whole getup.
Yeah, he doesn't do this normally. It's just kind of funny.
That's a bruiser Granadas right there.
Honestly, 6-second clear time is not that bad.
Like, he's got a 32 hit dual wield at 30K cap. That's not bad DPS.
Not bad at all.
No.
Yeah, I don't. That's not really like a showcase of him, but let's go and look at what else he brings. Like, we're gonna look at his skills a little bit.
The man in action.
Yeah. So we're just gonna. I'm not gonna like boost his shit too high. I just want to use his skills. I want to use roar actually. Pew, pew, pew. Roar. I wish it flinched there, right there. I wish it flinched. All right. So S1 though. Gonna run over here. Everyone's attacking me, so that's no bueno. We're gonna shoot at the Loug Zeus. I'm not gonna move. S1. Pew. See, same thing. Pierces everything.
Okay.
His S3 is a warp, so I'm gonna warp over to the boss right now. Pew.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't bring. So it's not like a Nero S3 where it brings them all with. I wish it did.
But it does.
So if like I go like this,
yeah,
it hits them. But if it brought this one over with it,
no,
that would. No.
You know how busted that would be in arena?
It would be amazing.
That would be totally unacceptable.
It would be the exact opposite of what Shift Millen does.
It would be completely unacceptable. Holy
but S2 here is just everyone's taunted, right? At this point, I think everything's taunted. Taunt. Good. Everything's taunted. Everything's gonna be coming after me. Yeah, we need more skills like that. Nero's S3 is already broken in arena. Like,
we don't need more of that.
we need all of it.
No.
That sounds fun.
I'm giving Adis ideas how to break things.
Because what is like? It's a
we already have
game.
Enough. We have enough.
Bro,
one shot, destroy everything in a single stock.
Yeah,
ruin their entire day.
Listen,
skills.
bring the whole party with them. What do you mean?
New players don't have that. They could get that if he did it.
What do you mean? Like the last 4 units had something like that.
Just saying.
All right, Granadas he's a good tank, but I mean it's really hard to showcase that, and unfortunately, for the only place I would probably be able to showcase him would be Arena, but even then, it's like I'm not gonna sit here and just watch him do nothing. Pretty much, he's built for an allure tank. He's built to mitigate damage. He's built to help the team mitigate damage, and maybe pump out some DPS if you feel like it.
If you want to see boring tank gameplay, just go watch my Shift Gorm video. It's all the same.
You could also just watch any of the replays that I have of like battles.
Or that.
I think I probably have one. Yeah, like tweaks. Shift Gorm is just literally sitting there. I mean, all of these battles for us, Lax, Zerk, we all bring a tank. So like, go watch one of those.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
No, I don't.
Chuck asks, how does he rank among the other tanks?
I guess
that's actually a very good question.
Should we do the ranking? And we've gone through the explanation of him.
But it's not a definitive ranking, right?
No.
Because they all have their certain points of which they're very good at.
Correct.
The bulkiest tank that I've come across ever is still Shift Gorm. Especially in terms of Arena specifically. He is always the last alive, in my opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In that facet, he's the most survivable. Now, the most team bulky outside of map-wide effects is probably Granadas. So the highest utility for the team itself, for a full team, is Granadas, in my opinion. For special specifically, for map-wide magic specifically, that's Ruto. And then for like solo enabling, solo protecting, that's Shift Gorm.
Yeah.
But none of them are like unequivocally better than the rest.
No. And that's the answer, in all honesty. Because while it's not the answer I think a lot of people want, it's a lot easier when there's just a clear 1, 2, 3. It's just not that way. In, I think, my opinion, in Tweak's opinion, I don't know about Panda. Panda, sometimes you have opinions that are out there.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Anyways, I would love to hear Panda's opinion on that as well, actually.
Sorry, I zoned out. What were you asking?
It's basically just the consensus that there is no definitive like tank ranking order. They all have their niches within tank roles.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
You can compare apples to oranges, but it's not a fair comparison. Like, sure, they're both fruits. Good job.
These are all different kinds of apples. Very different kinds of apples.
I think to give an answer that's probably more satisfying to the people, it's what you basically said earlier, and it's that you have not replaced Shift Gorm with him in your arena team.
No, I don't think I will.
Right.
He brings so much to the table and utility-wise that I specifically like. Could I replace him with Granadas and do fine? Sure, but I don't need to. Like, it's not just like lane day. Like, I'm going to just replace him immediately. Could Ruto also fill that role? Yes, but for these two specifically, Ruto's a little bit less bulky, even though he has that like invincibility for 7 seconds kind of stuff. He's still not as bulky as either of them. So he's more of a protector for your entire party and like PvE content. Shift Gorm specifically. Oh yeah, and Ruto's very good at healing. Like, he's also a side healer. Like, they all have their best spots, right?
They do.
Yep.
Like
those three are definitely the top 3 tanks in the game, in my opinion, though. And they're all usable in best in certain situations.
They're the only tank as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there's Tsukasa as well. He doesn't really have any team utility.
You consider Tsukasa a tank?
Just because of his bulkiness specifically. Not necessarily a tank, but a pretty strongly hard to kill unit sometimes.
I'd put him in the same class as like a Shift Kyle.
Cruiser kinda, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Shift
want
Kyle.
a good tank? All you need, saintly made Theria.
Literally. Just give her armor equip. You're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ordon says Alphonse. Funny that I would forget him.
Gosh.
Funny that I would forget.
You know what tier Alphonse is in? He's in the same tier as Duran.
Yeah, that's about right.
Forgettable.
free unit to your list. Oops, rip.
Oh, poor Alphonse. Anyway, we have.
R.I.P.
Shall we move to the arc?
We can move to the arc. I'm gonna go over to the gacha page because I actually haven't. What?
Sorry,
maxed it.
I was just making. Oh, you haven't maxed it.
No, I haven't maxed it, so we're gonna look at the actual.
I was just trying to make it dramatic.
I have it. I just don't.
Okay.
I just haven't maxed it.
Gotcha.
Being surprisingly being a like defensive arc, in my opinion, it surprisingly has relatively lower HP and defense stats. Like I would have expected higher defense, mind, and HP.
Even as an SSR.
I mean, we have other arcs that have much higher. Yes. In being defensive arcs. But the stats don't always matter that much. I was surprised they're just not as high as they could have been. That's all. They're still not that bad. MP11, this is like becoming a meme lately, just seeing arcs with like literally no.
Why?
So funny, dude. But the passives aren't too bad. Just boost strength, defense based on number of living at night allies. If you have a team of full tanks, or if you have like night mimicry on people, and you wanted to boost your defense and strength up on that unit, sure, you can do that. Survive once and recover some HP. First time lethal damage is taken. This will not stack with Indomitable Spirit, right? So these will proc at the same time. You'll get some HP for it, sure, but it won't proc with like his Indomitable Spirit. What it does do is it essentially gives a free heal for lethal damage if you don't have either From Zero or Indomitable Spirit on. So it is kind of nice in that regard, in my opinion at least. Armor equipped skills / special damage taken minus 20%. Sure. This is probably not a buff, unique buff, so this is probably passive, and it will stack with Granadas' ult. So that's not too bad. As to the learnables, Vigilance, always nice to have that on another arc, not really care. Armor boost, okay, that's available on other arcs. I like it here as well. Earth Drive, have we had Earth Drive before? I honestly kind of forget where it's been. I think we have.
I think so.
Was it new in the trailer? I don't remember. Yeah, I think this was new.
No, this is the first one
no.
with Earth Drive.
This is the first time with Earth Drive.
The first arc, yes, but Davin has it. Devon.
We've had units with it.
Whatever
I'm
you
just
wanna
saying,
call
like, we haven't had a learnable yet. Royal Armor, okay, cool. Sniper Shield, okay, cool. Aldana Iron Wall. This is interesting. I don't hate this, but it's again more of like a luxury skill type situation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Hennessy's a lot for an entire party to put on themselves, or at least 2 units to put on themselves and get physical attack damage taken minus 20%, minus 10%.
And compared
If this was like a minus 20%, I could see it, but like I don't know why they're starting these Aldana type esque. Remember that Aldana like formation attack or something like plus 5? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Again, these are like luxury skills. These are like attack raises. They're luxury.
They have to be, because other skills with those same modifiers are significantly cheaper. So it just is perplexing.
Yeah. We have,
Best
I think
was
it's
5 SC.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's why we call them luxury, right? Because at the end all be all, this is like a decision maker. At the end of your SC, do you want to put this on or not?
God, no.
Do you have the space if you want to put it on?
Nope.
More than likely, no. But if you don't have much else, then sure, use it. But I'm not going to be putting this on my arena team. I think there's no point.
You have better skills on ours and SRs.
Way better.
I guarantee it. There's zero reason to ever use it.
So learnables, not hype. Not hype. Not hype.
It's nice to have Earth Drive, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. AER, though, chance to auto-guard. Again, this does not stack with guard, so if a unit has guard already, useless. Continuous regeneration effect, gradual HP recovery. Cool.
I think this...
Isn't this like 5% or 10% HP? I think it's like 5%.
I think this AER is ass.
Okay, that's not unreasonable. The passive is just kind of like very meh. The attribute resistance kind of meh. Sure, it raises up 5. I don't love it. Defense plus 87, mind plus 44. Like, it's a very mediocre
It's like
SSR AER.
It's just Manila.
It's something that I'm never gonna use. I mean, yes, I do have a bunch of stuff to replace it, and it's probably not that bad if you're using Granadas and you got this arc as well, and you're just starting out. Not terrible. But for people who are, once you reach end game and have a bunch of stuff at your disposal, you're never going to use this.
Exactly.
So arc, very mids, in my opinion. Of course, my opinion can change. If someone shows me why it wouldn't be, unlikely to happen, but it has happened in the past many times. So I don't know. I don't know about it. Before we get into the buffs part, do you want to go over the event?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the event. Very exciting. Very exciting. Tribulations of the Aldana Knights. This is the new event for the Granadas banner. We have a new Sunvest Island. And guess what it is? It's the entire Aldanian continent.
You had much more positive remarks about it than I did initially. I saw you talking earlier.
So here's the thing. It's a rebranded Sunvest Island, yes. But at least it's a friggin' new map. Like, and we didn't have everything unlocked. I was like, where's the drill house? Where's the ability tower? I had to actually go through the event
when I first joined it, I was like,
unlock it.
One node? Is that really what they did? A single node? Are you joking right now?
Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
It's interesting.
This is not a long grind event. Like this takes I finished the first ones and I'm like, even the second ones, I'm like, this really isn't killing that many things. It really isn't.
It's not, but I will say I'm getting PTSD from it.
Oh my god.
Just
as someone else said in chat, one of the more important things is when you're doing this event, okay, so let's go over the important things. Sure, if you want, mind you, we don't get a high difficulty challenge until week 2. So this is what we have for week 1. We have essentially monster farming stuff from each of the little nodes. And then we also have the old stuff from Sunvest Island. So what are the important things to do? 1, you have a bonus challenge every day to give you extra bonus points for the event missions. That's probably your best income of that. 2, the drill house has a bunch of different good stuff for 0 tickets. We have the 3x special training field, which is what I was talking about before when I leveled Granadas for 6 quests total to level 110 from 100, which is nuts. Special accumulations give you 50 souls for for one of the units in your party that you have equipped. And then the special skill study dungeon is going to be a 40x multiplier dungeon. And then that gets multiplied by your units bonus AP percentage, which I think he gets ×2 or ×5 in this event for Granadas. One of those two, but definitely use these 3 things daily if you can, because they're really nice to have, quality of life wise. As to the ability tower, sure, you can do this if you want. You can do this 3 times a day. I've only been doing rainbows because I'm under 1,000 rainbows and I feel scuffed.
Oh my gosh! For new players, it's significant.
Yeah. This is a lot of really good stuff for, especially if you can bring steel units and steal from this. Lot of crystals and crystallites and clusters that you can get from it. Limit Breaker Tower. People are very excited to have this back. We've had this twice already. And these are incredibly good drop rates on the god stages for these 9-star materials. Definitely if you have, and they cost 1 orb each. They're I think it's a 30% drop rate on the boss, and if you steal, you essentially have a 30% drop rate for each of the steal and normal drop. Basically a 9% chance on each of these battles if you steal to get 2 of the 9-star materials for the god stages. So if you're lacking on these LB materials for these, especially the higher ones, even the mid-tier ones, which do run out pretty quickly, go ahead and farm this. If you finish the monster bounties and you have extra time on your hands and you have extra orb on your hands, go do these, because they're one of the best things that we've ever had. One of the best quality of life that we've ever had in any of these Sun Vessel events, or this Sun Vessel event reskin for the Aldanian continent, is the Limit Breaker Tower.
A lot of people save their permanent orange orb recovers for this, and I don't think that's a bad move.
I don't hate you for it. No way.
Yeah.
The fact that what?
The first 2 times we had this, I didn't really do it. I did it a couple times, and just it was a point in the game where I wasn't really caring to do much every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have 11, almost 1,200 permanent orb covers, and I'm going to have around probably 700 if I'm lucky by the end of this event.
Dude,
and they're all going to this.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Very high
tired of
value.
not having those materials.
Yeah, you'll have them forever.
I mean,
look at
you
Tweaks.
see me like, dude, I did this last time and I got like, I think I had over 200 of each. Like I'm still sitting pretty. And that was one of the best things I could have done, to never have to go into multiplayer and do these friggin' LB fields. Like, kill me. No, we're doing this instead for sure.
Yeah, there's
and they're not that hard. They're relatively weak. If you cannot do them as a new player, find a good support to have you do this a couple times a day at least. These materials will be used eventually, and they just help you progress. So,
for sure,
look out for strong supports. Join the Discord, join Booda's Discord, get some help.
Yeah, plenty of help online to get you through these kinds of things.
The next thing that I think was updated, which this is a super weird reset time. It's like 12. It's like the actual day change of PST, which I don't know why they're doing that. There's like a third reset button. But this so stupid. This will reset and I'm assuming we'll have a different color every day. So
wait a minute.
I bought this directly after reset.
So did I.
Yeah, mine hasn't reset yet.
Mine hasn't reset yet.
Right, it's resetting at 3 a.m. EST or like 12
midnight
today.
It's midnight PST.
It's completely different from every other reset we have.
Yeah, it's a second soft reset.
This is amazing. I'm
so
hoping
stupid.
that they don't change colors, but they're probably going to cycle through all of them.
Yeah, for sure. Because it says that. It says that in the maintenance notes is make sure to buy this before the reset because it will restock and change.
Yeah. So definitely check this out every single day. Try to get at least the mega cluster every day. It literally costs 10 coins. Like you should be able to get it.
You'll have.
And this is really nice value for newer players too, right? 3 clusters, 30 crystals, and 100 crystallites.
Yep.
If you're new, buy this out every single day.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Ability boards. I still argue it's 75% minimum of a character's potential.
Oh yeah. I feel like there was something I was gonna mention, and now I'm blanking.
From here, I mean, what you described for me, the order of orb spending is clearing.
This
the
is cost
monster
0,
bounties.
so you 100% do this. There's literally free.
Yep, do those every day when they.
These
reset.
are free.
Do
nothing
those if you need them, which new players will. Veterans most likely don't.
And I need them for emotional support, so.
And you need them. And buy out this little shop before it resets. Get the mega cluster, and then once you're done with the monster bounties, orbs go to
every single day,
breaker.
dude. Spam this shit.
There should be no multiplayer. There should be nothing else outside of this when you're done with monster bounties in this event. This is the most valuable thing that they bring back in these event maps with Sun Vessel. And this new little reskin that they're doing. For sure.
100% agree.
Yeah, that's my consensus on this event.
Deal. Okay, so before we get into the buffs again, I think we should talk about the gacha.
Talk about the gacha. There are 2 new.
So we're going to ignore the Granadas banner. Of course, this is normal. They are probability of 0.8 and 0.8 for the unit and arc. Sure, cool. New banner. What's important, though, is this MFN banner.
Oh yeah,
right
I
here.
forgot about this, but this is amazing.
Right. And someone pointed out something very interesting for me today.
Okay.
So you know how we were talking about 50 credentials cost, 15k gems and 15k crystals, and you can get a free arc from it, right? Free arc ticket.
Okay.
Or selection of like all the permanent arcs that have been out recently. What you can do is instead of doing 15k, you can do this daily gacha while it's out.
Yep.
So you can do this 6
it's
times.
Not paid.
You do this 6 or 7 times or whatever, and essentially get what was that, 2,100 gems for the price of 700. So you can get another 1,400 off that. So your first arc that you want to select is going to cost you 13,400 or 13,600 instead of 15,000. So yes, it's penny pinching. I get it, but if you're tight on gems and you don't know what you want to get specifically, you can do the daily gacha first.
It's super
every
relevant.
day.
It's absolutely relevant.
It makes it cheaper, and you can only do that once. But the biggest thing about this, besides the cost, is that it has stupid high value. If you are a player who we have all touted in the entire community as being the 2 top arcs in the game for SSRs being Sandworm and Caldina. If you do not have those,
Get
if
them.
you do not have those,
There's a-
get them now.
There's a reason.
Even if it costs, seriously, even if it costs you 30K to get both, that is such high value. It's unreal.
There's a reason that both of them are featured as the images.
Up here, yeah. Yep, pretty nutty.
It's seriously not something you should even consider. If you don't have them, get them.
Yep. They're
very-
absolutely worth the 30K. And if you only have one of them, go get the other one for 15K. Like,
They're-
you have the time to get up some gems. Assumedly, people who don't have them are either newer players who re-rolled for it or didn't re-roll. And hopefully you have 30K eventually or can make 30K in the next 6 days. Go get them. Or if you're a relatively older player, for the slow price of 15K to guarantee you a Sandworm or Carina, yeah, it's stupid high value.
It's the best pity that we have currently.
And if you feel like you don't need to rush those gems and you can wait the whole countdown, you can get one of those for 13,600 instead. So
Yeah, that's
you're not like, yes, you're only saving 1,400 gems, but it's still worth.
I would argue that having both of these arcs and getting them off of this pity is more important than
Any UR.
a unit selector.
Any selector. No, yes.
hands down.
Like,
I mean,
easily.
these are day 1 arcs that are still the 2 most sought after reroll targets in the entire game. In the entire game.
almost day one.
Oh,
Almost
I'm
day one.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
not
sorry.
quite.
I
Not quite,
misspoke.
but pretty damn close.
I misspoke.
Uh,
Super
it's
early.
Very early.
Sandworm was day one. Caldina dropped later, and
Gotcha.
you don't want to know how much I spent to get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
No,
still,
listen, a hell of a lot more than 15K.
I mean, we're talking the
here's
earliest
the-
game arcs.
Here's the thing with pulling the stuff. Yes, they have extremely low rates before that like guarantee, but you can get them before. It's not like you're getting nothing except this arc for the 15K. You might get other shit in the midst of pulling for these, right? So it's not like you're getting nothing back.
Well, and people sleep on the word guaranteed in a gacha. Seriously. Like, because someone could be like, oh, well, what if they come out with a UR that has dual wield? Guess what? That pity costs.
If there is one.
If there is
If there even is one.
If
yeah.
there is one. We're talking hypotheticals or talking about living in the moment. 15K guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I will bring up a
3.
counter argument to this, okay? So there have been in the past during these banners as well of people in the community who have said, "Oh, if like you don't need to pity these, if you have certain units." Well, while that may be true at the moment, you don't know what's coming down the road. You don't know what unit you're going to want to use. And if you, let's say you start out with friggin' Ardeen, right? Sure, he's neutral. Sure, has dual wield innate. I don't need either of those arcs. Well, that's essentially locking yourself into using one single unit forever and never being able to like just vary your playstyle, right? Like you're not going to be able to use dual wield on. Let's say you never get these arcs. You're not going to be able to use dual wield on your other units that you want to. You're never going to be able to use Trishula while it's not as broken as hell as it has been. You're never going to be able to get it. So yes, you may get these in the midst of pulling for other stuff, and you may have like I think Buddha. I think you pitied Sandworm, or what arc did you pity at one point?
It's a
one of these banners and then get like the next
It's-
multi.
It's very funny. I pitied Sandworm for 2021
Yes.
New Year's on this exact arc selector. And then the next multi that I did on Spirit Maiden Tyria's banner,
Oop.
I got her and Sandworm. So,
I'm
of
dead.
course, those situations happen. And it's funny that I preach it so adamantly when that happened to me.
But it was a guarantee.
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 I'm
You
sleeping
don't know what's
on it.
coming down the line, and dude, for literally every veteran in the game will tell you, Sandworm and Caldina, they're still the hottest reroll targets, like you said. If you didn't start the game with one of these, at least one of these, or and you don't have either, like stupid high value, way more than unit selectors. I would agree with Banda.
I will also take it a step further and say that they have been releasing more and more unit locked content lately. Like the latest that we got was the monster thing, right?
Uh-huh.
But we also have other story content that is unit locked. We have a vase that is not necessarily unit locked, but it's
Typing lock.
it is yeah, there's a lock in place. And if you don't have these two to build the units to the best that they can, you're going to struggle in that content. Period.
Yeah. Yep. Arcs.
Nah,
Like I don't care if you got Ardeen.
No,
I can't
arcs-
say how much. I can't say how much
Yeah.
these are such high value.
Yeah. One.
Literally, I wouldn't say that for any other arc in this at this moment. These are the only two I would pull for at the moment. Like, I mean, yes, there's of course other good arcs that you could get for 15K, but I don't think they're needed to be pitied.
If you had been playing for a while and you had like a stockpile of 100K and you didn't have Magrona for Sharp Eyes, I'd get that arc. Me personally.
Probably.
I
Okay,
would
fair
summon
enough.
for that.
That's what I was gonna say. Let's say hypothetically, I don't have Sandworm. Okay, so I'm gonna go and spend the 15K to get it, but on the way there, I get Sandworm. So now I got a choice to make, right? Do I spend the rest of the way to get the 15K, and then what do I get? So what do you guys think we should be getting? Targeting, like
I think
guess-
Magrona's a probably good call. I think Icy Guardian's a good call.
Anything with machine.
Anything with
equip.
skill charges and stuff are good calls.
Machine equip is an important.
Machine
Yep.
equip, sure, if you had to. Yeah, that's not a bad call either. Yeah, I mean, if you get one of these arcs like 9K in, 12K in, and only have to spend an extra 9K to get another guaranteed arc, yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. There's a lot of stuff in here that's good high value. And if you had questions on what arcs to pull for, we do have an arc tier list that you can go check out. So keep that in mind.
I think that resource is in the description. If it's not, I'll put it in.
It's on the tier list itself, so they're both linked together, the unit and arc tier list. So if you had any questions on like which, especially if you're looking for, what arc is going to be good, you look for the learnables rankings. Generally look for like learnable rankings or like AER rankings for SSRs. Those are should tell you like generally how good arcs are used for, because not every arc is going to be being good at being equipped. Some that have better learnables, some arc ethers or equips or passives. So high value for this update for sure. This only lasts the next 6 days, so total 7 days in total. I would go for that hard. You guys want to get into the buffs?
Let's talk about them.
Talk about them. So who got buffed? We had ReZero and DMC get buffed, being V, Dante, Nero, Rem, Amelia. Now, you went over in your explanation video. We don't really need to go ever heavy on that. V got like no buff, which makes sense because he's already stupid broken still.
Ooh.
I know, I was.
They haven't buffed anyone who's like already too buff.
Yeah, it's fair. Like, we didn't expect much at all.
The best they gave Spirit Maiden Tyria auto recast. That was the
that was extremely strong.
That was,
Dante got a pretty good damage buff. He's again like still the same unit, just higher damage. Nero's pretty much the same unit but higher damage. They both got better multipliers, better caps, sure. Still have the same issues as before. Dante not having dual wield, Dante getting interrupted quite a bit with long animations. Nero's got a pretty complete kit and is definitely the better of the two. Rem and Amelia got some interesting buffs. Rem got some damage cap buff. Honestly, not enough to make her like super relevant still. She is essentially the same unit as she was before. Nothing crazy. Amelia got quite a bit of damage cap buffs, but not enough to bring her into the meta. Again, she's one of the mages like Shifzekas who can cut elemental resistance or attribute resistance, being ice damage, and she pairs really really well with her Alhuma spell now, like even better now, as well as enemies weak to ice magic, and if you have that hydrogen sulfide spell from the Dr. Stone Sulfurina arc, that's one of her better spells as well. So like not anything crazy, in my opinion. Some fun stuff though. I think we're gonna go use because the only one that I had radiances for, or I actually didn't have radiances for, I went and used Crimson Orb for was Nero because I wanted to try him out, and he is pretty fun still. I mean, he feels exactly the same, just higher damage caps, which makes sense. How do you guys feel about the buffs?
Eh,
I know your girl didn't get enough. I know you said
V got
before.
some SC. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's one of the most important things of these units is they got 10 more SC to use.
And I
Cool.
think with the damage caps that V got, we could
Yeah.
technically single wield him with VO and still have it work now.
Oh no, he can already single wield. Just do it if you have enough damage caps on him. But yeah, that's like a confirmed, like without any reasonable clips or like any. I think I was using single like doppelhander and not doppelhander, but the two-handed machine. You could do it, and now he doesn't need that at all, and he can single wield it. I'm still gonna dual wield him just because we use him in other content still.
Yeah.
Especially for those super annoying rat enemies that only take 1 damage from hits. Like I want to double that. But yeah, the only one I did was Nero. I want to do Amelia for sure. Amelia seems very interesting to me, especially since we can all we have that meme where you can drop ice res 100 and
It was
What are we-
105.
what are
I don't
we
know
at
if it's
now?
gotten higher now.
120?
It's more than
We're at
that.
so Theo's 50. We have Aldanian 50, and then like 20 from Circle. So 120. So you can make literally anything iced weak if you felt like it. Well, I can at least. I don't know about everyone, but
I mean, I can.
I mean, yeah. Even if you didn't have like the Theo, we still have extreme bad chemical, and that would drop it to 105 overall. So you can pretty much make anything weak. And her being the enemy being weak to ice improves her viability quite a bit. I honestly on it. If you guys have seen, I don't know if you guys remember that short I did against the Attack on Titan thing with her being an ice cannon.
Mhm.
That's all I really want to do with her in Fight Enhancer is to just use her as an ice cannon and just S3 spam. But
Yeah, I remember.
we'll have to wait for that one. I don't have any radiances, dude.
Her physical DPS got a lot more viable with the buffs.
Uh-huh.
That is one thing that she got, but her physical DPS was never really anything to like tout home about.
No,
So,
and
like,
it takes a shit ton of enabling. Like it's not anything to write home about. Her ice magic is still very strong. Especially since Human got a nice little buff to it.
yeah,
but what I
they
wanted to
nerfed
do-
H2S.
It's fine, dude. We don't deserve it.
Panda is livid in the
Uh,
past, man.
All right, let's go mess around with Nero because we were doing this pre-stream, and I think of course this is the super endgame build, but his S2 is so satisfying in arena. His S3 literally carries enemies. It's super funny. For people who haven't seen this, we're just going to, I think, who did I fight before? Was it Koi, Begu?
Koi.
Lax was, I think, the one. Get out of here.
No.
Full tank squad? Did I do the full tank squad? Or was that Maja's work? Maja was probably doing work. All right,
Yeah.
let's find a spell render team.
Shout out to Luke. I was watching his live stream
Yeah.
on Granadas
We'll fight Luke
earlier this
just
morning.
because he got spell render. Just because I think we can do something with it. Who knows? I'll probably lose.
So, yeah.
It's literally Nero.
So my thoughts on the collab buffs, since I only have
Ooh,
Nero,
that's a rip.
I
I
was
got cursed.
very happy
Ooh,
about
that
this
hurts.
buff.
That
Yeah,
hurts.
why does that happen?
Gaze at the end.
Oh, what a stupid skill.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fight Rimuru first and just overturn him. Pop. Bye.
Goes
Um,
the weasel.
This
And
is gonna hit
Helper.
Roy. Theria, hi, hello,
Right
hello.
there,
Pop.
yeah, pop. This, I love that he can do this again because this was the
Takes
most.
the entire three. He literally grouped up and threw all three of them in the
This
same spot.
was the most fun I had with Nero back in the day. Was his
Yeah,
arena
dude.
presence before
Uh-huh.
before Loug came out,
Okay,
and
well, let's do this. Let's
Roy.
wait till they're all here.
he's a good
Hey
time.
guys, what's up? Hey guys, we're gonna go fight Roy, and we'll take everyone with we will take everyone with. And Luke, I'm not trying to shit on you. It's just like the first. It's
It's
just
a beautiful thing.
easy to find a battle. That works well
Nero.
for Nero's skill kit.
Oh, look at that
By the way,
Gorm.
Gorm just died.
Yeah, in one S2. Yeah, it helps that S2 is Thunder, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, Gorm, how's it going?
Oh, there's Rimuru.
Oh, hi,
and,
Rimuru.
And Tyria. Why don't we all
Hi, guys.
go on
Let's
a
go
little
join
trip?
a party. Yeah. He's just super satisfying in arena. If you can, that takes full manual. Of course, he's a soldier. He's on auto. He just runs around like an idiot with his head cut off and doesn't use skills that often. But like, he's kind of fun to use on manual. He's again just as good as he used to be, but now with higher damage multipliers and damage caps. So nothing crazy, but fun nonetheless.
Fun for us who have him, since obviously like new players can't get him. It's purely to enjoy him as the unit that he used to be in today's climate, if I had to describe it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, cool, guys. I mean, trying to think last minute things. We covered Granadas, his arc, the event, the buffs.
Even the gacha.
We
got it all.
Oh, we got the best multiplayer stamp in the entire game.
Oh. Yeah, we did. We sure did. Let's go look at that because that is the most toxic shit that I've ever seen.
It's not toxic whatsoever.
It's not at
glorious. Nope.
Where is it, bro?
I just gotta find it.
It's a lot of
If you're not
stickers.
spamming, oh no, idiot, I'll protect you, then you're not gonna make it.
It's right.
Do I want to put it?
Yes. Are you kidding me?
This is the most toxic shit.
This is better than any gold stamp we will ever get.
Man.
Unless we get a gold idiot stamp. This is prime. Someone put in my comments, they quoted me that I said, toxicity is an all-time peak with this stamp, and I'm excited.
Oh, God. So what did you say the most toxic ones were? Oh no, idiot.
I'll protect you. That's hilarious.
The other one is, I think it's the Ed one. It's like, or no, it's the A2 one.
I'll do this quick.
This, yeah.
Oh, so that's another one. Oh no, idiot.
Yeah.
I'll do this quick.
Oh, not bad. Oh, not bad. Like, this shit's just...
I'll never forget.
AS will not let us have any in-game chat, but they literally gave us a sticker that says idiot.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, what?
Yeah, their argument was it would be too toxic. There's nothing more toxic than literally just the word idiot.
It's so bad.
Oh, you know what would be great? If they let us stamp in the arena.
Oh my gosh.
Like after the match on offense,
Send
like
people
the
messages.
attacker.
Even
the
during
attacker has a chance
even
to
during the
stamp.
match, like and as when they watch the replay, is if they like kill the whole team and just spam idiot. Yeah, no, that's not okay.
Or thanks idiot. That's a good one too.
It's gonna be great. I'm very excited. Oh, dude. Remember when the whole the chat erupted during one of their live streams with just stickers, text?
Literally, oh no. Oh my god.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, no, that's definitely the last point I want to make.
Gross.
So cool. Yeah. I guess
I think that's everything.
that's all we got to cover for this update, guys. It's exciting. Again, just kind of circling around. I think the 3-year anniversary. I know Tweaks and I have those expectations. Panda is probably in a much safer place not having those same ones. However, I am comfortable saying I've never seen Barleen hype something up as much as I see him hyping up this update, and they've been doing it for a while now. So I think they've been working hard. I really feel like this update can potentially be like a make or break for a lot of long-term players. So it'll be interesting to see. 2 weeks. They did confirm April 15th it will go live. So in their typical 2 week, every 2 weeks you get kind of a big update. we'll get the next week's update introducing part 2 of this event and the unit selector banner that they'll probably
Yeah, there's going to be a
drop.
guaranteed permanent unit selector banner coming next week.
And
Yep.
I don't know if we'll do a podcast. I don't know if we'll see. We'll see.
We'll
what
see
they
if there's something
introduce.
substantial.
Yeah. So
I mean, we've been kind of like sticking to the big updates and not like the midweeks. So I think this is again, I don't know how much impact a midweek or a mid-update podcast does.
Right.
Well, next week's gonna be the
High
trial,
difficulty
right?
challenge.
Yeah,
Sure.
so that'd be the only
But
thing.
we've had
really.
those before, and they're just like one basic battle.
we'll post a short about it.
I
or
don't think this
something.
is like a trial
see.
of anything. I think it's just maybe. Well, we'll see.
Where's the thing? What did it say?
It just says a high difficulty
You'll
challenge.
get
That's all.
yeah. It's not ranking or time trial. You'll get a tweaks short of him clearing it in under a minute.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you
3
might,
minutes after.
you might get a 7-minute Buddha video trying to explain how I beat it or something. So we'll see what next week brings. But look forward to 2 weeks from now, April 15th. That's the big day. I know we're excited for it. There is going to be a live stream that they do, drop in a bunch of info. The Q&A is coming up in 2 days. So there will be some things to look forward to in the next in the near future. But I think that's all we got for you this time, guys. Thank you to everyone being here live. Thank you to the active chat, just hanging and being silly with me.
Yeah,
Chilling. Always good to chill with the homies. And thank you to my co-hosts, as always, for holding it down. Appreciate the insight. And hopefully one day he'll come to my account. And
Grandpatus. Yeah, no
Grandpa
rush.
does- No rush. No rush.
Don't
Definitely,
pull. Relax. Chill. Wait for Annie.
Yeah.
What you gotta do?
That advice has never been more sound. So cool. Like, subscribe, bell noties for anyone who's new. Thank you guys for 5,000 subs. That's a pretty epic number.
Oh shit! You hit 5K.
5K, bro.
Oh shit!
Let's go.
Pretty
I didn't see
epic.
that. I knew you were at 4.9, but 5.01. That's well over.
Yeah. No, we like shot up this morning. I was like, oh, okay. I'm still like soaking it in, like just coming from 0 subs.
Super cool.
You know, every number's relative, but there's always those little milestones.
I remember when you were baby Buddha.
Baby Buddha,
Makes
bro.
me cry.
When I
Me
was
too.
just a no name and people were like, who the fuck is this guy coming in a year and a half after the game came out? But here we are
was
now.
like, Run, Buddha, run!
I'm thinking about like a formal celebration during the 3-year, just to
You
kind of
should
commingle.
do a stream,
both
get
of
a little
them.
drink on.
Exactly.
Chilling.
Do a little, yeah. So I'm still soaking in the fact that we hit that number. I think I'm processing it. So there will be a formal thank you for sure. And with all that being said, guys, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.